Hello, hello, my dear fashion thinkers. Welcome to this brand new YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Laura Beltrán-Rubio. I'm a fashion curator, historian, researcher, educator, and my mission is to become your go-to source for diverse histories of global fashion. For a couple years now, I've been sending a newsletter where I share what I call my loose thoughts, which are basically just reflections and random ideas, and sometimes not so random ideas actually, on how we can decolonize fashion or maybe just create some more diverse stories around fashion, both in history and the present. And today I've decided to turn this into a YouTube series, hoping that it'll expand the reach and that more and more of you can engage with these loose thoughts. I'm all about conversation, so please do leave your comments below, subscribe to my newsletter, reply to my emails, and I hope we can share more spaces. Just as a disclaimer, I will be reading this loose thoughts section because it's still my newsletter and I still intend to publish it written elsewhere. But I do hope to be sharing more fun content and more histories and stories about fashion and diverse stories of fashion, especially in the near future. So do subscribe to the channel if you're interested in learning more. Okay, so let's begin. Here we go. Dear fashion thinkers, June was unexpectedly the busiest month of my year so far. As I wrapped up my first term teaching at De Montfort University, I was hoping to find the brainwidth to finally catch up with my podcast, our educational programming at the Fashion and Race Database, and my very own fashion curating projects. But between grading final papers, writing and editing upcoming publications on fashion exhibitions in Latin America, and attending what felt like a million events before I left the UK to do summer research abroad, I found myself stretching a bit too thin. So I took a step back from my ambitious schedule to recalculate and find a bit of harmony in my life. This meant following my intuition and irrationally adding a couple trips to my already busy schedule. On June 15th, I went to Bath for a fancy ball at the Assembly Rooms and stayed overnight just because I needed a change of scenery. The following weekend, I went to Greece to visit my friend and amazing scholar, though not in the fashion field, sadly, Rebecca Leviton, just because I needed to spend some quality time with her, breathe some fresh Mediterranean air, and visit a bunch of ancient sites as I meditated on my next research pursuits. Believe it or not, these extra weekend trips were just what I needed to keep my creative juices flowing without burning out. Instead of interrupting my writing and marking flow, they actually enhanced it. I even had the time to revamp and relaunch my Redressing Fashion Club, which I hope you'll join if you're looking for more safe spaces to exchange ideas and engage in thought-provoking conversations about fashion. My last minute trips also confirmed the biggest lesson I've learned in the past 12 years of my life in academia, which is short to juggling between too many projects at the same time. That we all need to find ways to disconnect and recharge if we truly want to succeed in our professional lives. Yet, both academia and fashion seem to have been built completely against the idea of a harmonious lifestyle. In academia, there's an expectation that we publish constantly, advise and support students, engage in public-facing activities, participate in university committees and national and international organizations, and generate impactful studies in addition to our already packed teaching schedules. In fashion, the increasingly fast rhythm of production and consumption met with an illusory quest for novelty and innovation creates a similarly intense environment. Last year, Vogue Business published a 4-part series debunking the dream of working in fashion, which concluded that fashion is facing a burnout epidemic. The plague is caused by a systemic lack of work-life balance that adds unnecessary stress, limits opportunities for recovery, and prevents optimum performance in the long term. As is often the case, the most affected people are members of marginalized communities, freelancers with precarious working conditions, and purpose-driven professionals. The report cited Subria Jones's burnout prevention and recovery toolkit, which includes recognizing the problem, removing unnecessary stress, creating financial safety nets, finding space to rest and recharge, and setting boundaries from within the workspace. These all sound pretty straightforward, but at the same time are so vague that I was left wondering what exactly will it take to find more harmonious ways of existing within fashion and actively fight the burnout epidemic. The problem is that because burnout is so systemic to fashion, it becomes almost unavoidable. And it requires a lot of privilege to be able to actually push back. In my case, I realized that I'm now able to request writing extensions because I don't need more publications to keep growing in my career, at least not just yet. I know that I can spend a full day writing at the beach because my work allows for a flexible schedule, just as long as I deliver my in-person lectures when required and fulfill my research responsibilities on time. And after a decade of very unstable employment and financial situations, I finally am in a slightly more secure place with 2 stable jobs that complement one another. But for many people working in fashion, this is not the case, or in academia for that matter. Many struggle to make ends meet by juggling several jobs, some of them completely unrelated to one another, which of course takes a lot of added energy. More generally, the frantic rhythm of fashion trends is mirrored in every single space within the industry, and even in parallel fields like fashion academia and the fashion media. So, if burnout is such an inherent problem in our contemporary fashion system, then fighting burnout must be one of the most important actions we can take to actively redress fashion. In other words, to decolonize fashion, we need to strive to avoid burnout. Unfortunately, I don't think that our fashion system or our broader contemporary hustle culture are ready yet to embrace it. Proof of this is that fashion has kept its usually frenetic rhythm even as more and more people are falling into the cracks of burnout. And when it comes to decolonization, it has become more of a trending topic than a serious and revolutionary pursuit within the industry. But more on that some other day. What do you think it will take to end fashion's burnout epidemic and, in doing so, move towards decolonizing fashion? Let me know what you think by leaving a comment, replying to my emails, or contacting me on other social media. If you're a member of my recently revamped Redressing Fashion Club, do expect to talk more about fashion's burnout epidemic in one of our office hours. And as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for reading. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.